So about 5 years ago, I started talking about finance content on this channel, and I specifically started talking about credit cards, the different types of credit cards you can get, how to get approved for your first credit card, how to move up the credit card ladder, and all the fun stuff that you can think about that comes along with credit cards. And I personally applied for about $30,000 worth of credit, and due to extenuating life circumstances, I blew through that entire $30,000, and I have not used a credit card in over a year. And so basically, if you want to know how I blew through $30,000 worth of credit, you can watch my previous video. But in today's video, I just want to debrief how I have not used a credit card in over a year. If you would have told me 1 year ago today that you're going to go over a year without using a credit card and also simultaneously have no desire to use a credit card ever again, I would have told you you're crazy. What do you mean? I need a credit card. What if something bad happens? What about my credit card points? What about my cash back? What about my travel back points? What am I going to do? What do you mean I'm not using a credit card? So basically, December 2023, right? I maxed out all my credit cards, and I've decided that I'm going to prioritize paying my rent and my main bills. So my credit cards are maxed out and I'm not making any payments. So basically, you can't use the credit card. So it wasn't like a willing thing initially. Okay, I couldn't use it even if I wanted to. And so January 2024 rolls around. I move into my apartment, and I basically decide I'm just going to focus on paying my main bills. Okay, I'm going to pay my rent first, then after my rent, electricity, cool. Then after electricity, car note, transportation, groceries, cool. And then once we're done with that, bank account is at zero, we'll do Instacart for anything else, like groceries and gas and stuff like that. So I'm paying all of my bills, I'm paying all of my main bills at least, and I don't have a credit card to use. I don't have a choice, so I have to use the money that is on my debit card. And when I started to have to use the money on my debit card back in January of 2024, I was basically forced to minimize my spending, because when you have credit cards with super high limits, my credit card limits were like, you know, 5,000, 2,000, 4,000, nothing too crazy, but still, like, it's a high limit. You can kind of get away with going over budget. At this point, I could not get away with going over budget, because if I did, my card would get declined, because that's all the money that I have in my bank account. At this point, even though I'm able to manage everything using my debit cards, I don't need my credit cards for my day-to-day expenses. I still think that I need my credit cards, because what am I going to do in the event of an emergency? If I get into a car accident and I need a new car, what am I going to do? If my apartment catches on fire, I don't know why I live in fear of my apartment catching on fire, because I forgot to unplug something. But if that does happen, how are you going to get a new apartment if you have no credit, if your credit cards are bad? And basically, the way that I got through that mind block is I just decided, you know, it is what it is. I think that the way that I've been able to manage this, what if this happens, what if that happens, is just saying it is what it is. I make a lot of decisions trying to prepare for what could possibly happen, instead of just saying it is what it is. I've never been in a car accident before, and if I am in a car accident, then the Lord is going to do what the Lord is going to do, and it is just going to be what it's just going to be. Like, I had to just let that fear go of what am I going to do if X, Y, and Z happens. And so basically, I'm just treating my credit cards as an extension of my income and as a emergency fund, which are two things that, it being in finance, I know that you're not supposed to do. But I think that there's a crossroads between what you know you're supposed to do and what you're able to do when life comes at you fast. And so after a couple of months, probably like March, of not using any credit cards because I couldn't use any credit cards, I basically came to the realization that I don't need a credit card. Now, as far as like, what am I going to do about my cash back points and my travel points and things of that nature, I'm going to be honest, I did, because I spent so much money on my credit cards, I did get a lot of cash back. Like, I think on the American Express card that had a $2,000 credit limit, I maxed that card out and I had like $45 in cash back. When I bought my MacBook, when I bought my not my iPad, but when I bought my MacBook and I think some AirPods or something like that, I did get quite a bit of money on my Apple credit card as far as cash back goes. And I think that all of that is well and great, of course, but I've just come to the conclusion that the $45 in cash back, the $50 in cash back, is not worth the stress of potentially being in credit card debt. It just was not worth it for me, because yes, I have $50 in cash back, but number one, if your credit card is late, you can't use it. Yes, yes, you can apply that to your statement balance, but I mean, it's like $50 and the card is like at $2,000. And if you're a responsible human being, because I know we have so many responsible people who are watching this video, we have so many responsible people who have never left a balance on their credit card ever, who have always been responsible and life has never come at them and they've never had to make tough decisions. And so if you're a responsible person, if you're one of those people, I know it's probably just an extra $45 for you. But I was thinking to myself during that time that I don't know how to put it into words. I was just thinking to myself that like having the credit card there and having the potential to go $5,000 into debt is not worth the cash back potential that you can get. Because even if you spend $5,000 on that card, you are probably only going to get maybe $100 back. And then as far as like putting your rent and stuff like that on your credit card, I don't know about you, but that to me just wasn't worth it, because my credit card, my rent company will charge me a fee if I use a credit card. So that just wasn't worth it to me. And you can put all of your other bills on your credit card and then pay it off at the end of the month, so you're able to get cash back, because this is money that you would have spent anyways. But I just definitely believe, let me just out myself, I'm not that disciplined of a person, because having that extra money, it's not extra money, it needs to go to your credit card, but having that extra money sitting in your bank account, let something come up and that bill has been paid on your credit card, that's something that can get pushed over. Like, we'll take care of it next month, we'll take care of it next month. And of course, when you're going through a financial crisis, you have to go to Dave Ramsey, obviously, because that's who everybody runs to whenever they have a financial problem. And Dave Ramsey says that personal finance is 80% behavior and then 20% everything else. And I truly do believe that the normal person watching this video, if you put your bills on your credit card, then at the end of the month, you're just going to pay off your credit card. If anything were to happen, in the event that anything were to happen in that month, that's how things get pushed off. I think that it's very, very easy to fall into credit card debt. Like, it's not hard to end up racking up credit card debt, and if you leave a balance on your credit card, then you're going to have to pay interest on that card. So there really is, so the cash back thing just wasn't working to me. Also, the travel points, I don't know what I was thinking, but I don't travel enough for it to be worth it to me. In order for you to start redeeming your travel points, for you to actually get the free flight or the free upgrade to first class or something like that, you have to travel a lot. You need to spend a lot of money. I can't even think about the next 3 trips that I'm going on in the next 5 years. Like, I really don't travel, and so the travel credit card was not worth it to me at all. So I'm really not getting anything from these credit cards. Even if I were to pay everything back on time, I just wasn't receiving anything that I thought was worth it, other than the validation of knowing, like, ooh, I have a bunch of credit cards, like, ooh, I have $30,000 to spend. You don't want that. You don't want that, trust me. But yeah, it's just crazy to think. It's crazy to think that I have not used a credit card in over a year, because I thought that life would come crashing down if I did not use a credit card. I thought that, how am I going to afford groceries? How am I going to afford gas without a credit card? And reality of it is that some of us just spend too much money. Some of us treat credit cards like an extension of our income when bad things happen. Because remember, I used to not use my credit cards. For about the first 3 years of having them, my utilization was always at 0, because I just didn't use them that much, because I didn't need to, because I was making great money at work. But then when my hours dropped down and I didn't have enough income coming in, then I started treating my credit cards as an extension of my income, and that is when everything just came crashing down. That is when the world was set on fire and everything just went in a blaze. Okay, everything just went ablaze. So this is not me telling you not to use your credit cards. Keep your credit cards. If you applied for a credit card because of anything that I've seen, anything that you've seen, or I've said, or something like that, I don't know what I'm trying to say, then use your credit card and be responsible. I'm just saying that it is absolutely possible. For the person who thinks that they can't live without credit cards, I'm telling you, it is possible. If you strip your income, if you strip your finances down to the bare bones and see what you can pay with the money that you have coming in, see what you're putting on your credit cards, and you'll start to notice that you actually don't need a lot of the things that you buy. And a lot of the things that we buy, we're buying them because we have the resources to buy them, but not because we actually need them, if that makes sense. And so that's what I did. I had to adjust my spending spending habits. I'll put myself out there. Yes, I did make finance videos and I make mistakes. Okay, I had to adjust my finances. I had to adjust my way of spending. I had to adjust my way of thinking about money and the things that I need, because what do you really need? Nothing. Okay, you don't really need anything. And so yeah, it's crazy to think about, but in the meantime, stay strong. Bye.